This episode is powered by Specialized Recruiting Group in Livonia, helping businesses find top-tier talent and professionals land their next big opportunity.
Welcome to Ghosted by the Machine, the podcast where job seekers break through the algorithm and finally get heard. No filters, no bots, just real stories from real people navigating today's hiring system. I'm your host, Mark Lane, and today we're talking to someone who has spent her career leading with purpose, helping organizations build stronger cultures, develop people, and drive meaningful impact. Teresa Barnhill is a mission-driven executive leader with deep experience in nonprofit strategy, culture, transformation, and workforce leadership. And now she's navigating the job market herself. Teresa, welcome to Ghosted by the Machine today.
Thank you, Mark. It's great to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Well, let's start here. Tell us a little bit about your background. What kind of role are you looking for right now? And
Sure.
what this job search journey has really felt for you.
Okay. Well, my background is in, as you mentioned earlier, nonprofit, but as well as for-profit industries also, a CPG, as well as marketing and advertising and healthcare. So I've had a couple of stints in different industries, and they've been able to help me really grow and figure out where I want to really grow as a professional. And I found that within culture transformation and leader development, and I really enjoy those a great deal. And I think my marketing background has helped with that. You know, marketing communications has played a huge role in cultural transformation and of course leadership development. But so did my role as a teacher. I started my career as a teacher, to believe it or not, and then transitioned into corporate America. So I have a lot of experience developing curricula specifically for leaders, especially first-time managers and executives. So both ends of the spectrum, kind of C-suite as well as entry level or those considering going into management. So that's been a lot of fun. But now, as you said, I find myself looking for new opportunities. As I'm sure you know, over 700,000 Black women have found themselves out of work in the last year. And so I'm one of those. I do some consulting on the side, but a full-time employment has been escaping me the past year. So I am looking for that. And it has been a roller coaster. You find something online that you really feel passionate about. Oh my gosh, this aligns with, my skill sets, number one. But number two, I feel personally connected to either the mission or the reputation of the brand, or perhaps even some people that I know that work there. But you find yourself being, encouraged by that feeling. And then you pour all your time into the cover letter and the resume and the answering of the questions just to get a formal thanks but no thanks email at like dark 30 2 days later, and you're back in the depths of what's going on. Why isn't this working for me? So it's definitely a roller coaster right about now.
And you're saying the dark 30, getting those Dear John letters at 3:00 in the morning
Yeah.
and you wake up to it.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they're emailing me at 3:00 in the morning. Come on, on a
Yeah.
Sunday night? I mean, come on now.
Exactly.
Just to know you were overqualified, and they'll keep your resume on file.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of that, a whole lot of that. I think just over the LinkedIn platform, I just checked this morning, I've applied to over 65 jobs, and that's since October of last year. Yeah, a lot.
And all those you're going through what they call an ATS system. You're utilizing AI. So when it comes to that, do you feel like it's helped or hurt you, or maybe even made you feel invisible at times?
Definitely the invisibility piece. I do not feel like it's helping me any because I haven't gotten any bites, so I don't think it's helpful, but I think more than anything, it makes you feel like a number and you're just going through the motions. There's no human connection there. No one to say, oh, we received your resume. We'll be reviewing, this is what the time frame looks like. If you've heard from us by X, that means you're moving forward. Or if you haven't heard from us by X time, we've decided to go in a different direction or whatever. But there's no human interaction at all in this process. So it just feels superficial and just almost we're going through the motions. We already know who we're going to hire, so we're just doing this just to do it kind of thing. I don't know if that's
Right.
right or not, but that's how it feels.
Well, we don't know. We
Exactly.
can't, it's almost like the Wizard of Oz and opening up the curtain. We don't know.
Exactly.
It's like winning the lottery. Because your AI is competing with my AI. We probably have applied for the same jobs across the country and we didn't
Could
know
have
it.
been. Could have been.
So everyone has something powerful inside themselves. Your resume only can show so much. What's part of your strength, your gift that you wish employees could truly see? What is your superpower that they can't see?
I think it's that I care, and I want to double click into there just for a second. So when I say care, I mean that's my approach to leadership, and it's an acronym like everything else around here. And I think, my care is spelled very differently. It's CAREE, has two E's. The C is for clarity. I try to bring as much clarity to things as possible. It's not always 100% because organizations, sometimes the C-suite may keep some things from, employees or the board or whatever for whatever reason. But I try to bring as much clarity to things as I possibly can to help my team. I think I know the A stands for accountability. I take my responsibilities very seriously and hold myself and my team accountable. But that also means that I'm in the weeds with them doing the work, learning as much as I can, trying to remove barriers to make sure they're successful. And that brings me to the R, which is resourcefulness. If I don't know, I will try to find the answers from someone else. If I don't have the resources, I want to make sure my team has them, so I'll go out and try to find them. So if I don't know, I make it happen one way or another by doing what I need to do in order to get the resources that we all need to be successful. And then I think empathy is something that drives me. We are all people, and people want to be respected and valued in the workplace. A good friend of mine, she wrote a book called The Waymakers, and I'm very much a believer in what she says, that all people want to be seen. They want to be valued. They want to be respected, and they want to even be protected in the workplace. And I feel very much aligned to that. So empathy is something that drives me because we are all people and we all want pretty much the same things, especially at work. And then the last E is excellence. Whatever I do, I bring my entire self to it. And I want to make sure that it represents who I am as a person and who my team is, and that we operate in excellence with whatever it is that we do. Little resources or everything under the sun, we're going to do a great job. And it's my job to ensure that everyone has that opportunity. So for me, I think the superpower would be care, and it would encapsulate those things.
If you could speak directly to recruiters or hiring managers, no filters, no fear, what would you want them to understand about the impact that this has had on you?
Yeah. Um, I think I would remind them that they work in human resources. And there's a, there's a very special word there, human. You need to bring the humanness back to this process. And, it is a system. There is a system. Our resumes go through a system. They go through filters, et cetera, et cetera. But there needs to be a human component to all of this because humans are who you are hiring. You're not hiring bots. You're not hiring algorithms. You are hiring people. And you need to make this as human of a process as possible so that people don't feel dejected and dehumanized or invisible, as you mentioned before. So how can they bring a human quality to this by reaching out personally to sending a thank you note, or even just to say, you know, your resume was great or your skill sets are awesome, but we went into a different direction because of, providing feedback, especially if you go through an interview or several interviews and you still don't land the position, giving feedback would be great. So any way they could bring the human quality back to this would, I think, help me and others feel as if we still have some value in this time, and when we're looking for a role.
So if someone's listening right now who feels ghosted, exhausted, or they're losing hope, what would you tell them from your own experience?
From my own experience, I would say number one, you're not by yourself. You're not alone. There are several people who are probably feeling the same way. Um, and everything happens at the right time. I have to believe that the universe, is working on this to my benefit and that there's going to be something that I'm being prepared for or that is being prepared for me that is just requiring a little bit more time. So don't give up hope and don't settle. Whatever you do, don't settle. It's one thing to get, a little part-time job here or something because you have to pay the bills, but don't settle there. Don't give up what you really want because you have to pay the light bill or the mortgage. But do what you need to do, but always go for what it is that you want, that that you need, and that is going to be fulfilling. Because if you settle for something less fulfilling, you're not going to be happy. And we spend the majority of our time at work. So you need to make sure you enjoy what you're doing and that it is feeding you as well as you feeding it. So that mutual benefit has to be there. So don't settle for the long term.
So let's give you an extra credit question. You've been
Okay.
so great today. This whole process, what have you learned from it?
I think I have learned how to be a little more AI savvy in all of this. My background is I was an educator, that was a teacher, and I was an English teacher. So I've been able to pick up on some language styles of AI without having to, read on and on and on. When it sounds too good to be true, it's probably AI. When it's following a particular pattern, then it's certainly AI. I've become a little more AI savvy on an experiential level, how I'm experiencing AI. And I've also become a little more empathetic even with and for HR folks. This is a lot. It's a lot when the job market is flooded with really talented people looking for, that one job. You could get hundreds and hundreds, even thousands of applications and resumes. So I feel for them. I have a little more empathy for what they're going through, but that does not negate the fact that they still need to take ownership of that human quality to all of this. So I think, um, becoming a little more AI savvy and then having, just some empathy for folks on the other side of this as well.
Okay. Well, Teresa, thank you so much for being open and sharing your experience today
Yeah.
and for bringing that human perspective into the conversation. And if you're watching or listening and thinking, hey, that sounds like me, you're not alone. And if you want to share your story, email me or send me a DM. And if you want to stay plugged into the real stories, real insights, and real humans behind today's hiring system, make sure to follow and subscribe. We've got new episodes, shorts, and conversations every week. And if your organization believes in making hiring more human, which we do, and wants to support conversations like this, we're opening up a few sponsorship spots. So feel free to reach out. I'm Mark Lane, and this is Ghosted by the Machine, because behind every application, there's a human. Let's make hiring human again. Thank you again for your time today, Teresa.
Yes, thank you. It's been a pleasure.